What problems are you trying to solve to grow your business?
I think that earlier when we've met, probably one of the first times that we met, one of the first things to solve was product market fit. So creating the product, identifying the market, and figuring out how those two things connected. Mm-hmm. And because we've had a lot of usage of Indiegogo, we're now distributing millions of dollars every week. I think it's fair to say that that's been solved. That doesn't mean we can't improve. It's just something that's been replicatable and scalable and something that's there. I think that probably the biggest challenge these days, especially as we're trying to grow a large company that makes an impact on the world, where we allow anybody to fund what matters to them, that's totally global, is on acquisition and retention of people. Mm-hmm. Like I mentioned, we went from 15 to 60 people in the last year. Some of those hires were perfect. Some of those hires might have not been perfect. It's really around what are the programs you could put in place to retain these people? How do you learn from them? How do you give them the right performance reviews? How do you give them the right metrics, the right mentorship? And acquiring, how do you set up the right brand? How do you filter? How do you make decisions? How do you do the interview process? If you hire the right people, you don't have to manage as much or worry as much because they will figure it out. Mm-hmm. So it's really around finding the right people.
Now, you've worked in management consulting before starting an internet startup, Indiegogo. How is that talent development cycle different in your work now than, say, comparing against what you did before?
I've actually learned a lot from when I was a consultant, especially on recruiting, the strategies, how you identify if people were smart, how to identify if they were good team players. So I think I learned a lot from being a consultant. In terms of the retention programs and performance reviews, I also learned a lot there that I've looked to apply in my company, which is what kind of questions to work towards in terms of performance reviews, how often to do it, what it would mean. It was more structured back in the days because those companies were more established. Our company is very young and nimble, and we're trying to literally just put those processes in place. So we only strive to have the same sort of people programs, but definitely learned a lot.
Is there a generational element that comes into play when you think about managing talent and what you do?
From my viewpoint, there's no difference based on age. I mean, people just want to work at a great company. They want to have an impact. They want to feel like they're empowered to have decisions. They want to know what their role is. So that hasn't been different. So I haven't really noticed any specific generational difference. Cool.